Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a small, thatch-roofed village nestled between gentle hills and uneven farmland. It's the year 1146, and you're sitting on a wooden stool in a smoky hall filled with quiet murmurs, the scent of straw, damp wool, and firewood mixing in the air. You are not here to witness a wedding. Not yet. You are here to witness its negotiation, a process that, in this part of Europe, begins with livestock, specifically with goats. In the medieval world, marriage was not a private affair. It was a public contract, deeply rooted in custom, family alliances, inheritance laws, and most visibly livestock exchanges. Among peasants, smallholders, and minor nobility alike, animals were currency. And while cows, sheep, and chickens had their place, goats held a strange and quietly powerful role in the marriage economy. Goats were hardy. They could survive poor forage, rough weather, and rocky pastures. They provided milk more dependable than cow as milk in many regions, and their milk could be turned into cheese, butter, or even curdled to stretch out meals through hard winters. In some villages, a dowry that included goats was seen not as a sign of poverty, but of foresight. Goats represented sustainable wealth. In-laws would often ask, half joking, how many goats is the girl worth? But the joke held weight, because in that dark room where families gathered, where elders in wool cloaks tapped their walking sticks, and looked at the floor as negotiations dragged on, the goat was not a symbol, it was leverage. You're sitting beside a man, perhaps your uncle or an old friend, whose daughter has come of age. The bride-to-be is not present. She may be at home, preparing flax or mending a tunic. Marriage negotiations were rarely matters for the couple themselves. Instead, it was the domain of fathers, brothers, and occasionally mothers, though their voices were often informal and spoken behind doors or over garden fences. The groom's family wants a strong match. They've come with 2 goats already tied outside the hall, a show of intent. One is black and shaggy, the other cream-colored with a nick in one ear. Both are sturdy, and both have been milked that morning. This meeting begins as many did, with silence broken by the slow pouring of ale. The fire crackles. No one is in a hurry. Everything in medieval life takes time, and that includes arranging a wedding that might span families, farmlands, and decades of future obligation. Eventually, someone speaks. "He's a good boy," says the groom's father. "Strong back. Took a tree down last autumn with his own axe." There's a pause. A nod. Then your companion responds. "She spins well. Keeps her mother's sheep. Never spilled butter in the churn, not once." These opening lines are expected. They're almost ritual. What follows, however, can stretch on for hours or days. The goat enters the conversation gradually. A proposed number, 2 goats and a sheep, someone says, and a bit of land. That land might be a strip of barley field or access to a shared well. The response is cautious, 3 goats, and no shared well. The girl brings her own spinning wheel. Back and forth, it continues. And while money may be mentioned, the animals remain central. A cow is impressive. A dowry with pigs means meat, but goats mean flexibility. A good goat feeds children, keeps a household afloat, replaces a lost chicken, augments a poor harvest. The right goat could make the difference between hardship and stability. But more than that, goats were personal. Unlike oxen, which were work animals, or chickens, which were largely for eggs, goats were kept close. They were milked by hand every morning, followed children around yards, sometimes slept in shared barns with families. To give a goat was to give part of your home, which is why, later that night, when both families reach an agreement, the goat will be walked across the threshold by hand. Not herded. Not driven, walked. It's not just about the transaction, it's a gesture of respect. The next step in this process is marking the agreement. This may involve a handshake, a spit on the hand oath, or a record scratched into wax or parchment if a scribe is present. In wealthier homes, a ring might be exchanged, though among villagers, it was far more common to mark the union with bread, salt, or a token of shared ownership, such as a knife or a cooking pot. And what about the bride? She hears about the goats secondhand. Perhaps her mother returns, cheeks flushed, whispering, 3 goats and a pair of boots. Or maybe her father tells her bluntly while washing his hands, "You'll wed on St. Martin's Day. The goats are settled." Whether the news is welcomed or not, the marriage will move forward, not hastily, but according to rhythm. There will be banns announced at the church, a visit from the priest. The neighbors will murmur, but in her mind, the number of goats will linger, because she sees them in the yard, and they are hers now.